And all that matters, ultimately, I think about all of this in this very dark world of ours, like people are having release, sense of connection, sense of memory making, sense of hilarity. And yeah, I think Tariq will know this better than I do. What is the odds, the percentage chance of America winning? It's like 2.94%.
That's exactly the percentage I know, Rog.
Letting yourself believe it's 100% is the whole point.
By the way, it's the same percentage Iran had with us in the war, and they won. So, like, maybe we're going in the wrong direction here. Maybe we can pull this off. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Show podcast. My name is Jon Stewart. It is June 23rd. It's a Tuesday. This is probably coming out tomorrow. And you know what I'm doing today? I'm not talking about anything serious. I'm done. I'm done with these Iranian negotiations and reflecting pool shenanigans. I want to talk what I've been feeling lately, what I've been feeling the excitement of lately, what's been running through my blood lately is this World Cup, this United States team that is making so far a really nice run, fine attacking football, fun attacking football, showing themselves to be really a quality side. And that's what we're going to do. We're talking World Cup. We're talking, and I'm not talking FIFA Peace Prize World Cup. I'm talking World Cup. The teams, the stories, why it's so important to us, why we love it. And we couldn't have two better guests to do this. We've got Roger Bennett, founder of the Men in Blazers Media Network, and Tariq Panja, global sports correspondent at the New York Times. And they're going to carry us through this World Cup frenzy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am struck by World Cup fever, as many of you are at home as well. And we couldn't have better guests today. We couldn't. I could tell you we could, but we couldn't.
You could, John.
Because we couldn't get better guests. We could not get better guests, is what I'm saying.
Zlatan and Alexei were available.
Roger Bennett, founder of the fantastic Men in Blazers Media Network, and Tariq Panja, global sports correspondent, New York Times. Gentlemen, what the heck? First of all, Roger, it is such a delight to have you on the program and to see you by your iconic map.
My weather map.
And Tariq, to have you in your iconic Fleabag Motel.
That's about right.
Wherever they're putting you up. I don't know what the New York Times budget is for sports reporting, but I don't know, man. It's good to see you both.
I need your help.
Yes.
You tell them. You tell them, John.
John, it's good to be with you. It's not often both of us are with a footballing icon, 10 goals, 12 assists for the William and Mary tribe.
Oh, you got the stats.
I mean, everyone's talking about it. When they think about you, they think about you as like the man you are, the conscience of America. But I think more people know you as just that hard-hitting midfielder and the coach Al Albert, an iconic legend, the man who really made football go in this country. No?
That is special.
Now, Roger, I do want to explain. And,
yes.
And obviously,
you've got beautiful legs because I've seen the photos. You've got an incredible pair of when you look at those legs, what do you think?
I called them getaway sticks back in those days. Roger's quoting my college stats, 10 goals, 12 assists. The only thing that I do want to say in soccer's defense, that was over 20 years.
That's as long as the World Cup is now.
It took me a while to accumulate those stats, is what I'm saying.
I know, but you're going to know when, back in the day when we all started doing this, talking about football in America, and we'd think about guests, like it was you, it was like John Oliver.
It was me and Kyle Rote Jr., and that was it. Me and Ricky Davis, and Moochie Myrnick, and that was about the end of it.
Primo Levi, and we could never get Rote. But you were like an early lover of the game, in all seriousness.
I loved it. I was raised in a town where it was very much Italian immigrants, Polish immigrants. They brought soccer to Central Jersey, imported it. You know, that was the thing. We had, there's a famous bridge where I grew up in Trenton called What Trenton Makes the World Takes. Tariq, didn't you do your research on this?
Guys, I've kind of...
Roger is running circles around us right now.
I'm just thinking Roger's making up American-sounding names.
No! He is... Can I tell you something? He is nailing... He has clearly gone on some kind of William and Mary Soccer Wikipedia page.
What are you talking about? This is like when you meet Pele, when you meet Maradona, you don't have to research them. You know because you've lived it. I'm watching you and Al Albert. I want to know when you do look at those photos because the shorts were short, the thighs were popping. They were. I look at them and I'm like, oh my God.
Roger, it was a different style back then.
I know, but it was very, I mean, I don't know if you can pop it up on this podcast because it might not be safe for work. But I look at them and I think, God, that is beautiful. That is incredibly American.
They were solid.
I also think, man, death comes for us all. Like, we're all going to die.
Oh, my brother. Let me tell you something. When I look at those pictures and I look at myself now, I think, why do I sleep in a meat dehydrator? That's such a mistake. That was such a mistake on my part. Tariq, it is true. He's not doing research. He probably remembers our famous match against Longwood.
Don't get me started.
1982.
Under Coach Al Albert.
And Coach Al Albert.
You guys are kidding me.
He knows the three names. Tariq.
You're like bleeding from your mouth. You're like, Coach, put me back in.
When you think back to those matches, do you believe American football, soccer, has come a long way? Tariq, as you watch the American team play, do you see advances in our style of play? I find it fascinating. I remember the days when our best player was always the keeper, whether it Brad Friedel, whether it Tony Meola. And now we're playing an attacking form of soccer. Tariq, is it hard to see this from the Americans? Do you fear us now? Are you fearful of our squad?
Do you fear us?
Of Balangong?
The Germans will fear us.
In a word, no. But it is exciting. it is exciting to see. It is great.
How about in 2 words?
No, and not really. Look, I think World Cups are great when the hosts are doing well. And you've got the US, Mexico, and Canada, and they've all kind of shown up. And I've got an apology to make because on our podcast on the daily before the tournament, I said this is not a good football team, and there is a huge amount of egg on this face right now because they really showed up. At the time, it counted as well.
We were playing possum in all the qualifying. We weren't showing ourselves to be who we truly are.
Well, and you got and Poch is into it. Rog, the coach, who seemed to be trying to get another job all the time while he was the US manager. He was trying to sort of get a European team. I felt like, what do we call it? A come and get me plea.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now, I think after that second game against Australia, he showed a level of emotion that I'd not seen with him and this US team. He was really, really into
He's talking about the coach. For those of us, our podcast is generally dealing with nuclear negotiations through Iran. So I just want to explain to both. He's referring to the famed coach of the American squad, an Argentine legend, Pochettino.
Mm-hmm. Who on local news across America, they call him, his name's Mauricio Pochettino, they call him Coach Poach.
Coach Poach.
Coach Poach is going through many emotions. He did want to leave. Looked like recently he wanted to join the Irvine Police Department when he saw they have Tesla Cybertrucks. But you can drive one of these. He has to go inside. But he's having an extreme makeover himself. He's started to dress in like 1980s game poacher cool. He's growing his hair out like Russell Crowe, and he's having the time of his life. We're all having the time of our life, which I think is what football is about. Look, this US team has not been very good. Our women's team kicks ass, takes names, is a dream team. Our men's team has been, and new listeners who are like, why is that English guy saying wait? Like, I love America like Kenny Powers loves America.
Yes. And we embrace you, by the way.
I'm not sure that's really true, Jon Stewart, but I won't have you say nice things about me on this show. The men's team have been like a dream on team, and we've always wanted them to be great. They've won one knockout game in our entire history, going back to George Washington. And if you've not followed, suddenly in this World Cup, they're playing a buoyant, swaggering, buccaneering football, albeit about not the greatest opponent so far. Yeah. But it is. It's like watching Matthew McConaughey. I was trying to work out, what is it like, this shock, this surprise, this wonder? It's like watching McConaughey just rom-com it, phone it in. Maybe he'll do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Maybe and then suddenly be like, sod that. You know what? There's an inner greatness.
Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is our Dallas Buyers Club, Jon Stewart.
Can I tell you something? I looked at that when I saw the Americans play. I thought to myself the same thing. This is a team.
This is our Dallas Buyers Club.
Losing weight to portray an AIDS patient.
And aren't they doing it supremely well?
We are the kings of own goals right now. I mean, the one thing I will say this, look, American football is always, and I'm hearing people all over say, oh my God, they took Paraguay and Australia. Can we win this whole thing? And I would like to say right now, for the record, no, we cannot.
But why would you say that, John? That's rational. And sports or fandom is purely ridiculous and emotional. I will tell you, I was in Seattle where that game was. We did a live show before the thing with Marshawn Lynch.
I love Marshawn Lynch.
And there were 5,000 people there. They were out of their mind. They come from all over America. They brought their kids. They were making memories. We then marched to the match. It was like, if you've watched a movie called Ferris Bueller, you'll remember like the German Day Parade. It felt like just a crazy, ebullient cacophony. It felt like Mardi Gras, but like football themed. And all that matters, ultimately, I think about all of this in this very dark world of ours, like people are having release, sense of connection, sense of memory making, sense of hilarity. And yeah, I think Tariq will know this better than I do. What is the odds, the percentage chance of America winning? It's like 2.94%.
That's exactly the percentage I know, Rog.
Letting yourself believe it's 100% is the whole point.
By the way, it's the same percentage Iran had with us in the war, and they won. So, like, maybe we're going in the wrong direction here. Maybe we can pull this off.
Hope springs eternal. But the thing about
thank you, Tariq.
These tournaments, it's the journey. It is fantastic. This is my favorite part, to be honest, of the World Cup. Right at the start, when everyone arrives, particularly these fans from God knows where, all over the place.
And it's an expanded field. Let's also be fair. It is now 48 teams, so it is a messier tournament than we've ever seen. And you're finding those teams that have, a Cape Verde or something like that, where hope springs eternal. But it is a larger field than we're accustomed to watching.
Yeah, this is to give you a sense of the scale of this. There were 64 matches for the entire tournament in Qatar 4 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, because it was in winter. You will need 72 matches just to get through this first group stage. So more than Qatar just to get into the knockout. So we're kind of drowning in these World Cup matches.
It's an ultra marathon and we're all getting runner's nipple.
Yeah. Roger, do you enjoy the expanded format? Do you enjoy the messiness of it? And let's be fair also.
Are you asking me how my chafing is, John?
How's your chafing? It's 48 teams. There's only, I believe, 60 teams in the entire world. So we're getting close to just everybody being in the World Cup.
Yeah, William and Mary.
William and Mary is 61.
You will be I promise you. The crazy part of this is that everyone coming in was like, Cape Verde, this tiny team, Curacao, this tiny team of 125. They're going to get absolutely obliterated. It's going to be an embarrassment. They've been bloody good. They've been what you could say part of the story of this World Cup. Cape Verde, this tiny archipelago of islands off the west coast of Africa, 600 miles west of Senegal. I know all this now. I didn't know it 6 days ago until they took the field against Spain, the World Cup favourites, and held them at arm's length with a goalkeeper who was stunning, a 40-year-old journeyman nobody, Vizinha, held them at bay, made save after save, cried at the end because his mother was not able to enter because she couldn't get a visa. He came on our show that afternoon and told his story beautifully, powerfully, nobly, humbly. He immediately, but at the beginning of the day, had 29,000. This is like a double-A baseball player,
right,
America, if you're listening. At the beginning of the day, had like 29,000 Instagram followers. By the end of the day, he had 10 million. He now has 15.7 million. He has more followers on Instagram now than Wemby and Mahomes combined. He has more followers than the Pope. This is what the World Cup can do.
Yes. People have always entered the World Cup to become influencers.
Yeah, and probably, Jon Stewart, your mind is already like, what does he do next? Like,
it's already now. I'm thinking to myself, I've got to go back and play again. Folks, we've all got great ideas rattling around our heads about businesses. I've got an idea about a business, like where you make really good socks and you put them on your feet and they're really well made and really comfortable. And then for every one of them, you like give something away. That's my idea. I don't think anybody's doing it, but that's what I want to do. But if you got a business idea and you want to make some dollars, there is a company that can help you make that pipe dream a reality. And that's Shopify. All the dumb ideas that I have rattling around in my head, I can use Shopify to make a reality. And they make it easy. The design studio, hundreds of templates to build your online store. What are you going to do? Hire people? Experts? No. You go on Shopify. They help you find your customers, easy to run email and social media campaigns. I'm telling you, man, Shopify. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TWS. Go to shopify.com/TWS. Tariq, what's been your favorite underdog story of this? Has it been Cape Verde? Has it been Curacao? What's been your favorite underdog story of this World Cup so far?
I think it's hard to look beyond the story Roger told about Virginia, but Curacao as well, getting a point off Ecuador.
Stunning.
And you say these names, Ecuador, Curacao, Ecuador is a big footballing nation. They were very good in qualifying in South America. And again, one of my predictions, which haven't come true just yet, there's still time, that Ecuador will go deep in this tournament. They are stacked with great players who play at top European teams. Right. And you have this team from Curacao. But the other kind of story for me, I think, is the story of us, of people, and these teams are populated by the diaspora as well. As a member of a diaspora myself, my family's from India. I'm English. Kids are seeing representations of themselves in all of these countries, and my love for the World Cup goes, and all of us probably. Rog, your first one, mine. When I was a boy. The World Cup every 4 years, the scarcity of this thing, these are moments of your life. You can date yourself, you can place yourself in all of these moments. Now there's going to be children somewhere who are learning about Curacao, who are learning, Roger, a man-child, is learning about Cape Verde. And, I got a call from a friend of mine in Mexico, an Argentine friend. His son is all over the Democratic Republic of Congo. That is the project he's decided to do at school.
That's amazing.
And he said, please call him, and he'll tell you all about them. And I don't think there's anything like it. I genuinely don't think. There's nothing like the Football World Cup, not the Olympics, not anything that we've been able to do up until now that can match the pitch of this. And I'm just seeing these pictures, obviously the Scots in Boston.
Drinking us dry, yeah.
The Koreans in Mexico City. All of it is just...
The Japanese cleaning up the stadiums. Everybody's learning. It's beautiful for Americans because, and it's hard for Americans to understand the importance of the World Cup around the world because it just hasn't really, it's not our national sport, although it's rising, certainly in popularity. But we generally, for Americans, we learn geography by whoever we're bombing. We know where Kabul is and Tehran. That's how war is God's way of teaching Americans geography. But the world embraces a different form of community in World Cup. It's about that competition, but also interaction. And Roger, isn't that what makes this the most magical of times? Because the countries travel with them.
I mean, I think that it's been very profound in our context. To see the world love America in the most joyous way, in the most profound way. Well, what Tariq said is true, that it's once every 4 years. It does make, my life, I feel, I wrote a book about it, We Are the World Cup, about I can tell my life alternately by World Cup to World Cup. It is the spine of my life, the most profound memory making. That's for me and millions of human beings around the world. What we're experiencing in the here and now is when we feel most alive because the world's coming together, human beings under conditions of great pressure are defining themselves, revealing themselves in like as epic Greek heroes with a script acted out live. But this World Cup does have that added dimension that I think is incredibly profound, which is, well, two things. For me, the story of my life, John, is America falling in love with global football. 1994, the last Men's World Cup was here. It was meant to turn us overnight from like Captain Kirk and space, the final frontier, to a proper football-loving nation. It wasn't overnight. It's taken time. I wrote in my book.
But it was profound. That 94 World Cup in America was profound in how it changed the way. And the fact that we went and went into the knockout round was a big deal for us.
In stonewashed denim, it was beautiful. But before that, before that World Cup, I wrote in my book that there was a study taken about favorite sports in America, and soccer was 67th. Tractor pulling was 66. The Economist has just done a study that found out that soccer is now America's third favorite sport. I was just on A-Rod's show, and he kept being like, when's this soccer thing going to take off? I was like, A-Rod, it's third now. He'd be like, well, where's baseball? I'd be like, oh, I've got some bad news for you, man. It's number 4 now.
Right.
But the other side of that is the football world falling in love with America. And two things are very profound. Like watching Lawrence, Kansas, open its heart to the Algerian team. There's just levels to that of openness and revealing yourself, your heart, your soul to the world, and the world embracing us back. And I will say, in this context, it feels so good. Feels so good and needed, and the world falling in love with things we take for granted. But I've always looked at as an outsider who's been embraced by Buc-ee's. When you do go to a Buc-ee's, it is a life-changing. The Waffle House, smothered and covered. Lemon pepper wet.
We take these things. We take getting in a fist fight at 3 a.m. over poached eggs for granted.
Yeah, what do we fight for freedom for if not that, man? Smothered and covered every time. But the other point is very true, and I want to be clear. The embrace of football fans, Scottish fans, I watched that with an equal marvel, John. When we were growing up, and 1978 World Cup, 1990 even. The English fans were put on an island off Italy so that the police could contain them, because football fandom was far more about a zero-sum game based on hate. People went to the games.
The hooligan era.
Yeah. To watch the Scottish fans, to watch the Norwegian fans, to watch the fans embrace each other. It's beautiful. It's needed. It's a world where the boundaries are porous. The love is the World Cup of love. It's fleeting. I won't be clear. I'm under no illusion.
No question.
But it's deeply profound. We had Diego Luna, the actor, on our show the other day, and he was talking with a marvel about watching the Mexican fans just fall in love, this fusion of Mexican and South Korean fans. And he's like, what's happened to us? We used to, proper fans used to just fire rockets at the opposing team's hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now we're just embracing them, holding them, hugging them. I like the old way, but the new way is we need the new way.
But you know why that is too? And I think it's this, and Tariq, maybe you can speak to this. I think there is a thirst in the world. The governments are so at odds with each other. The rise of this kind of autocratic nationalism. There is an air of tension and sort of imminent catastrophe. And it's a reminder that people are not their governments. The people are actually, they connect on levels of humanity and empathy. And this game, if it does anything, is bring that to the fore.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as my sort of trip around the US, and I've been in Tijuana as well with the Iranian team, because they've been kind of exiled in Tijuana. And just on that first, the way the Mexicans and the Tijuanans have taken to the Iranian national football team is just magical to see, because it wouldn't have happened but for the awful circumstances. But then people take over. Every day, in the morning and at 4 p.m. when the team's going to go and train, these people line up at the gates. These Mexican guys appear to celebrate this Iranian team, and then some of the Iranian diaspora come across from Southern California to meet these guys, and it makes everybody feel warm and special in this moment. And then looking at the US itself, I was worried. I'll be honest with you. I was worried about this World Cup. I was also worried about myself. Like, I'm based in England. I look like this. I was going to come over and I thought, oh, yeah, this is going to be interesting. What will immigration at the airport be like? Will I be in that room that I sometimes have to go in? Will I get sent back? Like all of these things, because this is the kind of vibe.
It's the moment in this country.
Yeah, and from the outside as well. Like I've covered a lot of World Cups, and the thing with Qatar and Russia, these were countries that were desperately trying to tell you that whatever you're reading about us, we're not like that, even if they might be like that. It was like, let's put the best possible facade on, if it is that, and make everyone feel more welcome than they could possibly have imagined. But the posture of the US government to the world has been very different to the past, i.e., we're kind of closed. The World Cup is happening in a country that kind of doesn't like the world right now.
Or the reverse. The world doesn't particularly like us right now.
Do you want the hordes of these foreigners coming in?
Right.
And do the foreigners feel comfortable coming in? So it was a really, really odd sensation before. And you've just nailed it as well. Like, people have taken over. It isn't a government event.
But isn't that always the contradiction of sport? And Roger, look, it's the beautiful game, and yet it's run by maybe the ugliest bureaucracy. FIFA is, in 2015, these guys are, there's an enormous scandal of bribery. Sepp Blatter, FIFA officials from everywhere are going to jail. It's very clear that Russia and Qatar, and who knows about the United States, bought their World Cups, moved people around. Is it the frustration, Roger, sometimes of a game you love so much, a game that is so unifying, that is so easily at times corrupted by the ruling body that runs the sport and the countries that try and dominate it? And how do we separate that out?
I don't know if we do. It's like cognitive dissonance. I mean, when you were talking about the emotionalism of this experience and the people taking over, you could say the same thing with the Knicks, John.
Wait, what? Watch yourself.
You were there, man. You were there. Jon Stewart was there. Leibs from William and Mary.
In the streets, baby. I was in the streets.
I mean, you watch that. You watch Side Talk. You watch all of that, and the human ecstasy and the memory making and the profound cross-generational wonder that's galvanized. No one's stopping in that moment and be like, what do you think about the owners? What do you think about the family that are running it and what they're doing? It's just like, I mean, what you feel. I can't tell. Everyone has their story that their dad's not here to. In those moments, you're like, my dad is not here to see this. I wish my dad was here. My great friends who died very young, huge Knicks fans. And their friends wore jerseys that they'd given them back in the day when they were kids. Football is both deeply rational and hyper emotional. And this is the pattern. Look, Tariq, we were in Brazil together in the run up to that World Cup, and it was doom and gloom, catastrophizing about we were there for the social unrest the year. You were held at knife point. It felt like darkness was about to reign.
Were you really, Tariq?
Not during the tournament, but yeah, I had my Brazil experience
in the run-up, right?
Yeah. I was mugged in Lagoa. Wish you young men well, whatever you're doing.
I mean, that's ultimately it. Football, more than any sport, its tremendous power is that it holds a mirror up to the world that surrounds it. That's honestly the thing I've always loved, and the World Cup more than anything, John, is. When two teams take the field, their nation's histories, their nation's cultures, their nation's politics take the field. It's not like this when the San Diego Padres play the Chicago. It's a great game of baseball, but like there's levels to this. And as a kid, the levels were always profound and remarkable, magical, even when they weren't. England, Argentina in the shadow of the Falkland Wars, Germany against France, when France was still recovering from its post-war identity. All kinds of stories and narrative that had heft. The world's just gotten so much darker. And so the stories have gotten darker. I mean, it's still a mirror. We may not like the image that of ourselves that we're seeing, of the the complexity of the name. I mean, how the Iranian football
and the teams reflect it.
Yeah.
France doesn't exist as a world power right now without their story of colonialism, because those French players, and there is always that tension of who is actually French or who is actually of that country, and the players not necessarily feeling the love from the people that, it really is deep.
And it will happen again and again, and that's the sad truth of this. I remember Mesut Ozil, the German player who won the World Cup, great attacking midfield player, and he had this quote. He's from a Turkish background, and he said, I'm German when we win, but I'm Turkish when we lose.
Right.
And I think he nailed it. And to your point about how can you separate these things about FIFA and the World Cup and all of this thing, I have a lot of people asking me, given what I write about is often the kind of dark crevices and the naughty corners of the game, and said, well, how do you still enjoy the World Cup? And I don't just enjoy it. I absolutely love this thing. I do. And it's a really simple answer. It's ours. It's not theirs.
Right.
Like, the World Cup is everybody's. It's just got this FIFA logo on the thing, but it is this moment in time where we all own this thing and we all have the right to enjoy it. Whether you can afford a ticket or not, you just have to go out in the streets. Now, those people in Lawrence, Kansas, they will have the best World Cup experience imaginable. They might not ever set foot in a football stadium. And this will be happening all over the place, also in homes all around the world. There'll be kids staying up, allowed to stay up very late in the middle of the night, and they'll be talking about it, bleary-eyed at school the next day. This is our thing. Yes, there is a FIFA stamp on this, and FIFA is many, many things. But the tournament is everybody's.
Hey, listen to me. I know a lot of you folks out there, you love companies with composite names, joined by an ampersand or a plus sign, whatever it is. Well, you're in luck. Bowl and Branch is what's happening in the world of sleep. Well, you know how it is in the winter? You get mad because your spouse steals your covers. Well, in the summertime, and I don't know how this has been happening, my spouse has been adding covers to me, adding layers. It's just like waking up in a hot box. Simplest way to upgrade your sleep is upgrade your bedding. And who does that better than Bowl and Branch? You might say to yourself, well, couldn't Bowl handle that? Or couldn't Branch handle that? No. Together, they are stronger, like the Wonder Twins. Like when you have the rings that go together. Bowl, yes, fine company. Branch, yeah, but together. Bowl and Branch. That's when the thing really takes off. Signature organic cotton sheets, breathable pillows, waffle blankets. Blankets that I think look like waffles. And comforters. They got it all. So sleep cooler this summer with Bowl and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bowlandbranch.com/TWS with code TWS. That's Bowl and Branch. BOLLANDBRANCH.com/TWS, code TWS to take 20% off. Exclusions apply. I want to ask you guys, because it is, how did, Roger was talking about the Knicks, and I can remember how the Knicks imprinted on me when I was 6 years old, 7 years old. How were you imprinted? Where did your first sort of memories of joy and love and family and community and soccer come together? Tariq, I'll start with you and then Roger.
For me, it was everything. So you wake up, you have a ball in your hand, you're at school, and you're just trying to get out of that class and play. And then I was about five or so. I still remember it. It's a grainy memories, right, of that World Cup in '86, which was in Mexico. And I remember being taken to an uncle's house. When you're Asian, an uncle's house means a lot of people. And it was nearer where who's got the biggest TV, and there's only one TV. Like these days, that's the other thing. Like this second screening, a multi-screening, it's kind of taken away something, and headphones and all of these things. where people aren't as kind of, you're almost forced to watch together, whether you like it or not. You might not.
This is pre-cable with the little antennas that stick up and move around, and the TV is wider than it is tall and, deeper than it is wide.
And you've got this guy who is both a hero and a villain in Diego Maradona.
Yes.
So this complete one-off. And he what he did to England in '86, I just don't think there'll be two moments like this.
Right.
You can't script this stuff where he has jumped into the air and hand of Godded the opener.
Yes, they called it the hand of God. It was really just the hand.
It's brilliant, though. No, it was brilliant, though, by the way. They not only did it, Tariq, he then, in the post-match interview, they said, did you handle the ball? And he said it was a little bit the head of Diego, a little bit the hand of God. That's genius.
He was a genius, because the next thing he did just leaves you slack-jawed and like,
Are you talking about the goal where he basically takes it?
He ran from the halfway line.
It was crazy.
In this beautiful sunlight in this stadium, and it's just magical. So the next day, guess who we're all calling ourselves? We're all Maradona in the playground. Either we're trying to do a hand of God, or
you're going through everybody.
And I absolutely fell in love with this tournament, with these people, with this game. All of this, and it endures despite everything, to be honest.
And it has levels where it connects, Maradona, and now we watch Argentina today, and Messi is touched by the hand of God. Here's a man who's 39 years old, is obviously one of the most prolific scorers that the game has ever seen. Can't be more than 5'5", like Maradona, has this incredible sense of the goal, and has put away 5 goals in 2 games. He scored every goal for Argentina in the run of play.
Without ever running.
The penalty kick that he was given, he misses.
Without ever breaking into a run. It's just it's like the closest we will ever get to watching someone with Jedi powers just mind meld. It's really and
remarkable.
He's the figure more than any that America. He's bigger in America than the game of football itself. Well, the Maradona thing was amazing because the Falklands War came before. So he didn't just do it. He did it in the context of geopolitical chaos. And I think a lot about it. Like, he cheated. He punched the ball in, listeners. You're not allowed to use your hands. And then minutes later, while we were all howling in agony, he cheated. He essentially, the equivalent of a kickoff return through the whole team, our whole heroes, eviscerated all of them. Afterwards, one was interviewed, said, why didn't you try and kick him? He said, we did. He was just that fast.
He looked like he was moving at double speed. I mean, if you get a chance to go on YouTube or whatever to find the goal, it's remarkable.
The Argentinian commentator, find his translation. He was cosmic kite, he screams as he does it. It's beautiful.
So good.
I went outside as a kid. I just see my heroes emasculated.
Yeah.
And I was so angry. By the way, Maradona could have done the second goal whenever he wanted. He wanted to cheat us. He wanted to show us, I can F you this way, and now I'm going to F you that way. And I can do both because you are my whatever insert word there. And I went outside, 15-year-old me, in agony. My heroes had been eviscerated. And I took my soccer ball, and just drove it. I wrote about this in my book. Drove it right through the front window of my house in agony. And my dad, who was, quick to anger himself, just looked at me as the glass tinkled down, and he goes, I understand, Rog. I understand. And now I have on my wall in my office, I have that framed handball signed by Maradona, because I'm grateful that I saw it. I felt, and this is the point, John, ultimately, I'm dead inside, man. The world has killed me. I am confused and lost and unmoored. But when I feel these things, when I see Messi do what he did yesterday, I know I'm feeling things that most people feel in real life, but I'm dead to. And I'm feeling it with millions of other people. We are paying witness.
This is your conduit back to the living in many respects.
I don't know if it is. I'm like Matthew McConaughey behind the bookshelves, man. I'm just
now what's going on with
but I'm like, ooh, I feel
You're going through the whole McConaughey oeuvre here.
It's a canon.
It really is.
But I mean, some people have the Bible, and I think McConaughey's hit every single human emotion. I love the rom-coms, man.
How did you come to it though, Roger, you're 15 in the 86 World Cup,
Yeah.
but when did you first, like with Tariq, when did it first imprint itself upon you that this was something special that was going to be in your life?
Oh, God. I'm from Liverpool. Liverpool football is like Indiana high school basketball, Texas high school football. It's like...
Oliver has made me a Liverpool fan, by the way.
Oh, John.
That's what he did. That's what he... Listen, I made him a Mets fan. He made me a Liverpool fan.
That's killed you there.
Is this true? This is true. Man, if you're a Mets fan, John, you should be an Everton. I don't want to tell anyone how to live their life, but you like pain. You like joy that's fleeting. You like hope. You like doomed hope. You're like, oh, my God.
Doom is really the... Doom is the operative word there.
Come with me on this journey to misery. Come with me, my friend. Come on, take my hand. I've got to talk to you after about this, John. This is not the way. But we'll pick that up. Look, so it was in Liverpool. Football music are like air, water, fire, man. So they're just there. My dad chose Everton when he was a kid. We often used to say, would we be different if we were Liverpool fans and we won things? He'd be like, we'd be unbearable. We wouldn't appreciate things. We wouldn't appreciate. You have to not win. He wouldn't call it losing. He'd be, sometimes not winning is important. And he'd say, when you do eke out something joyous, you just have to dance like you're at your own kid's wedding. I think the truth of life is in football or sports fandom. You've just lived it as a Knicks fan, man. Mm-hmm. But first World Cup, 1978, it's where I start my book. Like football in England, when I grew up, was muddy pitches, violent men, a backwater. You'd go to the games. I'd go with my dad, who was a decent man, you know. We'd routinely step over broken, bloodied bodies on the way to the game. You know, men just holding their hand out, asking for help, their teeth smashed out by a brick.
Because they wore the wrong scarf.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even like look at them. You would be like, oh yeah, your brain would just be like, oh, there's another broken body. Yes, you'd step out, excuse me, on the way to the game. Just carnage everywhere. Like you just see police horses charging people with iron bars. I've seen men punch police horses. Craziness. Seen it all. That's football.
Now, is that because the horses were rooting for Liverpool?
I never asked
the wrong scarf on.
Yeah, lad, you're gonna get it.
That's what happens.
So that's my culture. And then 1978, the World Cup was in Argentina. We didn't have much live football on in England either. It kicked off, and the first game we tuned in, huge stadium, thousands and thousands from the bleachers as Argentina took the field. The fans threw toilet roll, thousands and thousands of toilet rolls cascaded down, confetti, joyous. And my mother, very practical, turned around to us and goes, "Who'd take a toilet roll to a football game, love?" But I turned to my dad and I was like, oh my God, Dad, football can be joyous. It can be fun. Who knew? And the dark side of this, John, because I know you're a dark man and you want darkness. And so what I give to you is that 1978 World Cup was run by the military junta to try and they hired an American PR company. What was it, Burstyn Marsteller, who did a paper.
That's right.
They did
that's
a paper. They did a paper called "What is True for Products is Also True for Countries." And Henry Kissinger was like hired to publicly proclaim, now the world will see the true face of Argentina.
Oh, right.
And even then, watching this, that's the dissonance that you want, man.
You're right.
You're talking. Even then, 1978, there was a human that people were being thrown out of planes at the same time as we were watching.
Right.
You know, Argentina win the World Cup.
No, that's a remarkable juxtaposition there, because I think you're absolutely right. And so in that same moment of the darkness, and I think this is kind of what we're talking about, is you feel the hope. If we can just break through those hierarchies and structures that are holding everything back, and we get to suddenly touch each other's hearts during these things. And I know that sounds ridiculously overwrought and maudlin, but it really is true. And I tell you this, watching the Knicks in the street, Game 5, and thinking back to the first time I was at the Garden in the early 70s in the nosebleeds, watching the Knicks and the Celtics, going to those games with my son, being in the street with my son, with my wife, with my friends, feeling the streets. I'm telling you, it was, I am not a religious man. This was spiritual.
So funny, man.
It's wild.
Jon Stewart I'm a horrible man. I moved to America in 1993, September. 2 days, I landed in Chicago. Second night, breaking news, Michael Jordan's retiring. I felt terrible, like I'd done it, like guilty. And then I watched the Bulls season, the Michael Jordanless Bulls season before he came back, and Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen.
The 1 year we thought we could win the championship.
Yes. You were like, yes. And by the way, I didn't know, I'd never watched basketball before, but I became mesmerized. This Bulls team, they had a center, Luke Longley, who was from Australia.
Australian dude,
He and I arrived in Chicago at the same time. Neither of us really seemed to know what the hell we were doing there. And I loved him, and I watched him. And then we played the Knicks in that epic battle between, it felt like to me, good and evil. Like, I still have nightmares of Jon Stark's pubic mustache.
Wait, who was who?
For me, I'm going to be honest with you. I was proper
Chicago
balls, and I watched Jon Stark's destroy with his pubic mustache. And three nights a year, I will wake up in a cold sweat, like just Jon Stark's like a Cheshire cat, just the mustache is left. And I'm like, oh my God, that was Anthony Mason, what an athlete he was.
Yes.
Oakley turned, the Benedict.
That was in the days of they were bruisers.
Yes. And they beat we were valiant, but you beat the crap out of us. And I hated that. Like, really, really, really hated the Knicks. I'll get to my point here. I'm a horrible person. I carry that hate in my heart. The older I get, my kids, I'm a New York person now, despite my accent. The older I get, the more I'm just like, you know what, whatever gives you, my kids are all huge Knicks fans. It's like my worst parenting. I can't stand it. It's really upset me. It's really upset me. It's like really dark, and my wife can't understand it, but it really upsets me. But even I, John, this is my point, watching them, feel that joy, feel that connection, feel that memory making, feel that sense that everything is possible. It's not kids listening to this. It's not, everything isn't possible. But even me with my dark heart, I'm so happy for you.
But once every 53 years, something like that is possible.
So happy for you. I'm happy for you, John.
Tariq, have you ever had that in your rooting life? Have you ever had that feeling of deprivation, and the deprivation suddenly going to the mountaintop and feeling that, the distance between the two, making it sweeter like that? What's been your history as a fan? Is it heartbreak?
I tell you, I'm kind of a fan of the sport. I'd say these days, rather than a fan.
What are you, Elmo? You won't pick a side?
I'm not going to. But what I'd say, I live recently. I just had this magical experience. Is what I want to talk about. Like, New York and London have both had these moments a few weeks apart, and I was watching what's happening in New York from a distance. I'm not a basketball guy, a New York guy, or a Knicks guy, but it felt very familiar watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I live in North London where Arsenal play.
Go on, you gunner.
Yeah. And I must say, whichever neighborhood it is, and it doesn't matter which country. I was in Argentina recently reporting as well, where you have a lot of neighborhood teams. When the neighborhood team is doing well, or something is up, it's in the air, there's just a different little sparkle, different little magic. People are looking each other in the eye, smiling. I'm saying maybe even a little nod. Then Arsenal hadn't won the league in 22 years, and they're not an Everton. Sorry, Rog. They are one of the bigger teams in world football. But still, 22 years. There's generations of people who haven't seen this team lift the Premier League title, and they did. And the parade in our little corner of it was honestly one of the most magical afternoons of my life. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Arsenal as well. This is the point.
Joy is infectious, man. Joy is infectious.
It was amazing, and
more than ever, though. More than ever, man. More than ever, we need that.
We
joy,
need it.
Tariq.
We need this stuff. We do need this stuff. And the thing that I just marveled at was I'm seeing like women in hijabs. Everyone, all sections of society. There's a guy with a pint, a woman with a hijab, and they're singing the same songs. The streets were packed. Every type of person imaginable was there communing in this one spot, this one day. When the number 19 was stopped going down Blackstock Road and people pouring on. The bus driver was infected with this joy.
Yeah.
Not like, guys, I'm on my route here. What are you doing? Get on board. And a party on the bus full of everyone.
But not just there, Tariq. It was across Africa, man. Across Asia. You saw massive. But I think the point, and the next, we need the joy more than ever, man.
This is why, though, the FIFA Peace Prize is so meaningful. People look forward to that FIFA Peace Prize being given out every year because of what soccer, football brings to the world. Wake up! We got a lot of interesting things going on here. You cannot fall asleep during the podcast. You can only fall asleep after you've heard about our latest sponsor. They're going to change your sleep game forever. Avocado Green Mattress. Look, these avocado mattresses, they're designed similar to an avocado to provide comfort and proper support. Very people know that about avocados. The avocado is designed to provide comfort, support, and guacamole. But these things focus on thoughtful craftsmanship. They're not mass-produced products. They're bespoke, artisanal. If you were in Brooklyn, it'd be the perfect place to sleep. Choosing avocado is good for you. And not that you care, you selfish bastard, but it's good for the planet. They use certified organic materials that are responsibly sourced, not irresponsibly sourced, not just willy-nilly sourced, responsibly sourced, and they last longer. And if you last longer as a mattress, there's less waste. Avocado products are made, not manufactured, and thoughtfully crafted with real materials to deliver lasting comfort and support. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/TWS to check out their mattress and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/TWS. We know what it feels like. How do we turn off the part of our brain that gets upset about sport washing or these terrible regimes that are using our joy, our feeling, our empathy against us to ease their own guilt burden, reputation, FIFA Peace Prize? How do we, I get angry at myself for not being able to separate them.
I don't think we should be annoyed. I think we should be able to carry both thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's really important to hold these guys to account. I mean,
well, that's what you do. I mean, Terry, that you do better than anybody. I mean, that's so much of what your reporting is.
It's because it's really important. Because we've just spent the last 48 minutes or I can see the countdown. So about that time, talking about how great this sport is, this thing humanity has produced is. And the fact that these guys are able to, I don't want to use the word govern, but kind of take it hostage in a way, is something that should not be allowed to pass. There are good people in football, but the lack of accountability over the most popular human pastime, this thing that stirs all these emotions, the things that bring all of these politicians or dictators and governments to want to cleave it towards themselves,
right,
is something that is super important. But there's zero accountability over these people.
Well, 2015 really was a moment of accountability. I mean, even for someone like Michel Platini, who is, a legend, a player and a legend being held to account.
Absolutely. But, you talked about this. That was a huge moment.
Yes.
You're seeing the most powerful football executives being yanked out of beds at 6 a.m.
Right.
in a luxury Swiss hotel, obviously, and then being taken out, perp walked, taken to New York, and we have the biggest scandal in sports. And here we are 10 years later, and the film that I think of every time when I think of FIFA is Terminator 2. The kind of that villain who couldn't be killed, the other Terminator,
right?
Or T-1000, I think he was called, where he would just reformulate into exactly the same.
Roger doesn't know that if McConaughey's not in it. If McConaughey's not in it, he doesn't know what's happening.
If it's not a McConaughey film, I'm not interested, man. You know, I'm trying to. By the way, John, I am sitting here trying to think which McConaughey film shows you how to have cognitive dissonance but hold two truths to be evident at the same time. And I realize all of them, even the rom-coms, do that.
That's probably true. That's probably true. But Tariq, now, so like you said, 10 years later, they've dropped the investigations into FIFA. They've stopped, and right now the cozy relationship between FIFA and Trump, our Department of Justice has dropped all investigations.
I was thinking about this and looking at when Trump came in. A couple of things happened. I remember being at a conference and seeing the news saying the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act isn't something the US care about. So foreign corruption, yeah, we're not into this anymore. Just to read that headline was pretty stark.
Well, he also made an announcement that it was okay if companies in America bribe foreign officials for business. I mean, explicitly saying, hey, man, that's just how things are done. So if you need to bribe people, knock yourself out.
Yeah, it's like a level. The others are doing it, so we're going to be left behind if we don't do this. And then the other thing they said is like kind of this type of white collar crime is not a priority for the DOJ. And what is the point of these organizations, or what is the point of the DOJ if you do not want to tackle?
I think revenge. I think the point of the DOJ, if I'm being clear, I think it's revenge.
So great for those guys, and then you have, for me, I've kind of it's been the backdrop of my career basically, and you see all of these people have been arrested and taken away, and a new group have come in, and slowly, and then very quickly they realized, and you're like, oh, if I cross this line here, will anyone notice? No one has. And then that line gets so far away from where you've started that it is a free rein. There were things brought in like term limits. They were like, yeah, we're going to have good governance models, term limits. All of these guys are bashing through their term limits, term limits, schmerm limits. This is fantastic. We're just honorable people. Why do we need term limits? You can trust us.
Right.
And then the model isn't to cater to fans like Roger or yourself or the teams or the players. FIFA is beholden to 211 Gianni Infantinos, other football presidents. And what do you do? What do you give them? You give them gifts. You give them
peace prize,
peace prizes to Trump, but also to the football. Because you wonder who's going to change. Why is football not asking for change? Because I'll give you an example. Just now, the day after the opening game in Mexico City, where all of the football world were invited, so presidents and the senior hierarchies of each of these national federations, come to Mexico City, stay in a lovely hotel, and come to the opening game of the World Cup. And you think, okay, that's great. But that's not all you get. Then get on a plane. We're going to fly you to Miami. 5 days at the Ritz-Carlton in Miami. Enjoy, guys. And guess what? Gianni Infantino is going for re-election next year. Just remember that while you're here. Who supplied all of this?
Wow.
And it rolls on and it rolls on and on. We have more uncontested elections in football than think about your worst dictatorship. We just don't have a conversation, a debate, all of these things. Like my phone might have a bunch of WhatsApps from upset football executives. And I always say, well, why are you telling me this? Why don't you just say it? Because they're all enjoying themselves. $300,000 a year for 3 Zoom meetings. It's not bad, is it?
I'm mad, but I don't want to stop the gravy train.
Correct. There's so much gravy on that train. The tracks are so slick right now.
I hate to draw the analogy, but it's not that different from the United States Congress, to be quite frank. I mean, it's a group of people who are no longer answerable to the constituents that they purportedly represent. And they're sort of enjoying this separate world, that they've created. It's a kind of impenetrable bubble. And I wonder, Roger, do you ever, as you're going around this world, how do they view you? Because you're such an asset to, especially, or not just around the world, but in America, to the fan. You're bringing this game and really evangelizing, right? And so I imagine they view you as an asset, but I also think they probably know they can't control you. So how do they view your platform and what you bring?
Who's they, John? I mean,
FIFA, the people that control.
You'll have to ask them.
The head of Qatar.
I mean, you'll have to.
Putin.
God, Putin is on our Discord, very active on the Men in Blazers Discord.
What's his username?
At Vlad3237.
Vladdy Daddy. It's always Vladdy Daddy.
Ultimately, I mean, what Tariq's laid out is the cognitive dissonance. It is how do you get out of bed in the morning, Jon Stewart? Like, how do you function in the morning? How do you do anything? It's hard, and the world is complicated. I think about, and have from the very beginning, look, we started off as one podcast. We've grown this thing into a whole network that has a whole women's platform, has a Hispanic platform, Vamos, 3 different communities. So what I think about is nourishing them. I think about what the game brings to them, what watching together brings to people's life. I think it's, John Oliver comes on our show every year. It's my favorite moment in the year because I think about this a lot, work on this a lot, and he just kind of breezes in and just does it so much better than I ever could. But without
and by the way, you don't pay him for that, right? I mean, that's not a paid appearance.
With Oliver demands huge yes. Private planes. We're not allowed to look at him in the eye.
He was like that with us. Same thing. Spoiled.
Yeah, I know, he's difficult.
Spoiled.
He comes on because he just loves football, man, loves Liverpool Football Club, but do not go that way, Jon Stewart. But every year, at the end of the interview, I ask him, ultimately there's an old cliche in football, which has been warmed up a lot by a lot of different people. Football is the most important, least important thing. And I always do wonder whether there's a moment in time, whether being a football fan, because I think about fandom, I think about experiences, I think about memories, I think about and football for me has become more important the more challenging everything becomes, because it is, in all seriousness, where even fleeting joy, fleeting sense of deep, profound connectivity, a lot of the good stuff can occur. And I do always ask him, I'm like, is there a point where it becomes almost like we're fiddling while Rome is burning? By watching football, he's like, well, no one ever talks about whether Nero was a really good fiddler. He's very, very good.
Can I push back against that? I don't think it's bread and circuses always. I don't think it's necessarily government's ways of distracting us while they do the dirty work of what they do. I think it's actually a way of people acting out community rather than distraction, that it's reminding us that those people are fleeting. Jesse Owens in the Munich Olympic, when he showed Hitler what was what, these are the kinds of things. I've taken a very different view of it. I agree with you, Roger. Like, there's a certain part of you where you feel like, oh, this shit just doesn't matter. It's just stupid. But think about Lawrence, Kansas. Think about how people are responding to learning about different cultures for the very first time. It is unifying and grounding in a really important way. And the more we resist those evil forces co-opting that beauty, that's part of the struggle. I know this sounds ridiculous. I know I am sounding ridiculous.
I couldn't agree. I think I want to be clear. I think it's become more important. I think it's more important than ever, sustaining this community, not take it. I mean, this is the motto of everything that we do. Do not take a second of watching football together for granted. I mean, it's become the most powerful thing, this conversation with fans, these sense of feelings, these sense of active memory making. So that's kind of how I how I approach it. And I don't spend a second, John, thinking about what people think about me or like how my set. It's like there's no good energy that comes out of that, man. So I'm just trying to focus on. I'm trying to, do good things with really good people. Put a sense of positivity, a sense of joy, sense of activity. There's so many great things that we're watching, like the Vizina story. The
Amazing.
goalkeeper, it's tenacity. I mean, tenacity is probably the greatest human value, I think.
Resilience, yes.
So these are the things that I spend a lot of time thinking about, a lot of time trying to articulate, a lot of time trying to story tell. And that's how I approach all of this.
I was at this game between Jordan and Algeria yesterday here in the Bay Area where this prison cell is. And
yeah, that looks like actually a Motel 3. I don't even think that's a Motel 6.
I got talking to these Jordanian fans outside the team's hotel there. And they said, we are all over America. It's such a big country. We are everywhere. And they came from Dearborn, from New Jersey, from other parts of California. And they said, we've never had a moment ever where we've all been able to come together. This qualification for the World Cup has brought all of these disparate Jordanians, and this is just one example. There'll be 47 other examples of this. It's
a focus for the diaspora.
To San Jose, outside the Hilton Hotel, where they're chanting and probably ruining some businessman's Zoom meeting while they're waiting for the team to come out. And I just thought it was just a very, very interesting and important moment to realize what else can do that. I'm not sure there are many other things that can do this. And here we are, and we got a few more weeks of this to enjoy. So
that's right.
Let's enjoy it.
When is the final? July 19th? Is that where
that's
we're talking?
Right.
So how does this? So we're going to move into the knockout round. Let's play out a little bit of who's advancing, where we're going to go, and we'll wrap up with a little, not necessarily speculation, but a little predictive. Is this very much like the kind of March Madness that Americans are used to, where you'll get a Cinderella here or there, but ultimately by the end, it's the blue bloods. It's going to be France. It's going to be Spain. It's going to be maybe Netherlands, who's playing remarkably well. Don't know about Germany right now. Argentina. How do you guys see this? Where's it going to go? What might be some of the surprises?
The honest truth is we don't know a lot. Every team's played twice. It is an ultra marathon, this thing. It's a massive bloated tournament. The Germans have a notion for you don't want to peak too soon. They always believe you want to be a Turniermannschaft, like a tournament team that finds their rhythm, finds their way,
what is the name they have?
They have a name for everything, John.
They really do.
I just found out they have a thing for internal monologue and anxiety called Kopfkino, which is the cinema that plays inside your head, which means like you're lost in your own mind, which I love. Kopfkino.
Yeah, Kopfkino.
A lot of McConaughey in your head.
That's just me.
They have a name for that, a McConaughey.
Yeah, that's me trying to get out of the Kopfkino.
Yes, understood.
Is to embrace your inner McConaughey. But ultimately, teams will reveal themselves in the knockout round, their true self. First game, you don't really know. Second game, ultimately, they need to. It's like you played, and I'm going to lose you younger viewers. There used to be a game called Punch Out, where you'd be Mike Tyson fighting better and better opponents. That's what the World Cup is. It's just a game of punch out. Until we get to the open water of the knockout rounds, we don't know. I'm rooting for a US Cape Verde final. It is the joy of this tournament that these tiny nations, they're like the St. Peter's Peacocks, whoever they were in, when was it, 22? Like
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, these teams, everyone now, they've all had access to not just training and coaching, but the other thing you were talking about, diasporas earlier. Tariq was talking about fan diasporas and diasporas coming together and colonialism. Like the reality is, in France, Paris itself has like 73 footballers represented. They're not just stocking the French team. They're stocking the Senegalese team, the Moroccan team.
Right.
Germany, the blurring of boundaries in
Balogun, even in the United States. I mean,
God bless.
It's incredible that coming from Africa, coming from Europe, coming from Asia. I mean, it's amazing.
And so these teams, even the tiny teams, have access to true talent pools of footballers that have done far more than if it was truly just a representation of like people who only grew up and play football in Cape Verde. So it is magnificent. I'm thrilled for the little teams. I will say, to see Cape Verde's name on a scorebook by Spain, to see Curaçao's name, this must feel, I've never been to either place, but it must feel absolutely just like an epic national achievement, not just sporting, but in their nation's history to see themselves reflected here.
An epic even in defeat. I can remember, it might have been, maybe it was 2002 when the U.S. played Germany. We lost 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
We lost 2-1. Okay, so
1-0, I think.
1-0, I think.
Oh, it's your show. Keep going. It's yours.
All right.
Tell your story. What does it even...
I'm probably wrong. I thought we lost 2-1.
Jon Stewart, what does it even matter? It's your memories that matter.
You know what? We lost 8-4.
Yeah.
It's 8-4.
I remember that game.
But what it was, we actually dominated play for a good portion of the match. And this was for an American team that had always been defined by its goalkeepers. We'd always been defined by, we would form the turtle shell and we would have Brazil come at us and take 25 shots. And if we got out of there with a 1-0 loss, this was the first time I remember watching the American team against what you were talking about, that top shelf, world quality, and have moments of actual dominance, possession-wise, everything.
Yeah. There was a German that handled the American shot when it was going in on the line. Torsten Frings, name him and shame him. He handled the ball when the ball was going in and the referee did not see it. It's a human agony, and it's the closest we've come. We would have been in the semi-final.
Right.
And ultimately, this is the one place. It is something to think about for your listeners. If the American men do become good at football, it will be the end of the game of football for many fans. It will be like when Deep Blue beat Gary Kasparov at chess. They'll be like, sod it, the machines have won. We have nothing to hold over them, because right now, I want to say this, they know, like they laugh at us calling it soccer.
That's so funny.
Because they know that we recoil. We're like, oh my God, are we not meant to call it that? In England, the biggest shows on television are called Soccer AM, Soccer Saturday. They use the word, but they also know that we are so slightly inferior. We're so superior in so many things, or we act like it, but we're very inferior in men's football, and the world loves it. Everyone laughs at us. And they know that we know that they know that we know that we're bad at it.
And they love every time an American announcer uses the word pitch. They take a great pride in the fact that they are forcing an American into this foreign vernacular that sounds so contrived.
And so the Lala Zlatan, I'm convinced it's a rom-com.
Alexi Lalas and Zlatan is pro wrestling.
It's a symbolic battle for the future of civilization. It's not just about two guys in a studio.
Oh God, I don't want either of them to win.
No, Thierry Henry from the sidelines.
Yes, that's who we want. We want Thierry. That's
from the top rope.
That's what we want on
Jon, I have a good feeling for the US. I think they're on the good side of the draw, if there is a good side. So there is a chance that pathway opens up here
into 16.
You mentioned 2002. I think this tournament has a little bit the hallmarks of that one, where Turkey were unfancied, the US were relatively unfancied. There were teams, Senegal, there were teams making runs. This tournament reminds me a lot of 2002, and there could be a journey or two for people or teams that we're not thinking about. However, I think the final on July the 19th will be two heavyweights.
I think there's probably no question there. But here's what I will say that we haven't brought up yet, and this is not to flatter you both. The Lions. They have a deep, talented Harry Kane at 32 years old still shows he has the finishing capability to carry a team. I mean, in this year in the Bundesliga, not to suggest that's anywhere near the Premier League, but to have that, and in Champions League, he had more goals than games even. So
how much football are you watching, Jon Stewart? I'm loving all of this.
I was just thinking the same. I'm loving this.
I'm watching it right now, Roger. I'm not even actually paying attention to this conversation. I'm actually watching through my screen Serie A.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm watching whatever Milan team they want to throw at me at this time of day. I'm watching.
Do you know how many Premier League teams are going to be making offers for you to become a co-owner in the wake of this? It's just amazing.
100%.
I'm there.
I feel like Tariq and I are just tools for you to buy into Bournemouth AFC. Up the cherries.
Absolutely.
West Ham are up for grabs, and here comes Jon Stewart.
Oh, and by the way, West Ham, what a remarkable little story that's been. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is, I love it, but I also know, and this is through Oliver, that nobody breaks your heart like England will break your heart. But I'm telling you, this year, I see something there. Bellingham, Kane, I'm telling you, there's something there that's special. And I think if they could put it together, they could be one of those heavyweights standing at the end, watching Donald Trump hold up the World Cup trophy.
You know, I'm feeling you, John. But you know, it's just very hard.
Yes, I'm trying to.
It's very hard to say it out loud. This is a very good football. This is a very good football team.
Very, very good football.
However, I'm not sure the English people are capable of being World Cup winners. I don't know how we're going to handle it. So maybe
you do know how they'd handle it, Tariq.
It won't be good. I don't know if it will be good. I think glorious failure.
Did they rejoin the EU at that point? If they win, did they just go, we're back?
I think at this moment in time, glorious failure is probably the right thing to happen.
Right.
Because
I'm not an England fan, but you do know how. I mean, I grew up in Liverpool, which considered itself a republic like Monaco or Liechtenstein or whatever, like a socialist republic. Like there was when I was a kid, Liverpool was trying to cede from the rest of England and become a socialist republic, which was just so insane and amazing. So like Liverpool people, we didn't cheer for England growing up. It was famously like we're in the north.
Right.
England was like a southern symbol. And at the same time, just that I felt for them, even though I'm like very much Team America now. I felt for them, like my dad, the desperation, the hunger, the desire. You know, he'd seen 1966, which felt closer to 1066 to me. Like the desperation. It is. For anyone still listening to this,
the Normans lost 1-0 in 1066.
We should have had them until the arrow went into the eye. It was not fair.
Hand of God.
All of that. All of that is fused. The arrow going into the eye, the handing the ball in. It's the end of empire. But it is amazing. England, if you're still listening, it's like Charlie Brown kicking a football with Lucy Holding. Like something does always go wrong. But Jon Stewart, if England win a World Cup now on American turf in the 250th anniversary of independence, it is, you know, Tariq, there will be rockets fired out of anuses that aren't meant to contain rockets, but will look magnificent all over this nation. And God, I'm not sure America's ready. I'm not sure America's ready for that denouement.
I love it. Gentlemen, I can't tell you the pleasure I have taken in this conversation. I'm loving this tournament. I'm loving both of your coverage of this tournament and just big fans. Roger Bennett, founder of Men in Blazers Media Network. Tariq Panja, global sports correspondent at the New York Times. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you, John. And when you do buy West Ham, just
you have a spot in the owner's box, my friend. No problem.
Tickets half price.
Tickets half price.
Big love.
One drink though. One drink ticket. That's all. Guys, I want to thank you both for listening to my men's encounter group session.
I loved it. It was great.
Out of all the podcasts I think we've done, that's the first one where I think almost all the guests cried or almost cried.
and the producers cried.
I cried.
Yeah.
We're talking about the families and my father and the way that he working class, and because it really is how it connects in such a deeper sports, music. They connect on these levels beneath the surface of language and everything else. Do you guys are you guys huge sports fans?
Oh, I'm a really big sports fan.
You are, yeah. I know you like the Giants, so you know pain. San Francisco Giants, by the way. San Francisco. No.
I totally am. I'm like a huge sports fan.
Yeah, no, Brittany's not. She's not having it. Have you guys been watching at all any of the World Cup stuff, or your fandom hasn't moved into soccer yet?
I always get so into the World Cup. Like, I'm that cliche of somebody that's like, all of a sudden, and I'm like, every team too. I'm like, this is my team. Like,
Cape Verde. I love these guys. It's awesome.
Yes, exactly.
And it's also, it reminds you, coming off of our Knicks experience, and I know we all shared that in the city, but there is a mini Knicks experience to be had in the city all the time when you go to these pubs that are showing Premier League. I'm not even talking about just World Cup. You visit these other countries.
It's the funniest is when the pubs around the city too with the Premier League. It's like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And these guys, they've had a couple.
Yeah.
Excuse.
I'm convinced that's why they're watching.
They blame it on the time difference, but it's really not.
You go to England, it's 8 a.m.
Very convenient.
No, they were there. And I love how Roger is just like, I'm a sad man, I'm an anxious man, I'm a nervous man, but I love football. And then he just lights up and
it makes him human. He says,
yeah.
And I love that they said, like, we need this. We really do. It's actually, I mean, that's why I keep getting so misty watching is like, we really need
it. Because it is, when you think about just the decadence and corruption and inequality and the things spinning out of control, and to have something like this that still belongs to the people, whoever owns it, whoever runs it, it still belongs. And it reminds you of those moments. And I hate to, again, like throw them on there, but it reminds you of Hungary tossing out Orban. It reminds you of the power that still exists in the population. That's what I love.
Yeah, it's the unity.
Yeah. Ta-da!
There's an ad that's been running since like before the World Cup started. I think it's Airbnb, and I think it's Claire Danes that's doing the voice for it. But it's like when the world meets, and it's like you needed, Jamaica to bring their sound systems to England to make punk music. And before the World Cup, I saw that ad, and I was like, this is so out of touch with like what's going on right now. And now the commercial comes on, and I'm like, that's exactly right, Claire Danes.
Right. We do need that. Thank you, Claire Danes. Brittany, what do they want to know from us this week? What do we got?
All right, team.
What do they
John,
want? What do they want from us?
Why are soccer players so overly dramatic when they are knocked down or kicked?
It's an excellent question. I was a soccer player for many years. There is a layer underneath when you play soccer, a layer of nerves that go through there. It's like, do you remember the game Operation?
Yes, I'm awful at it.
Put the thing in there, and it doesn't seem like much. You just have you have yourself a little. You got a bone, and you trying to put the funny bone into where the elbow is, and you think to yourself, well, I just touched that side. I didn't bang into it. I didn't hurt it. But what happens? They're not faking. We have overly sensitive electrical impulses that go. My favorite ones are the ones where like clearly on the replay, like not even touched. Like they literally just decided like, I didn't even touch the side, but it's time for me to do, I'm going to say 3 forward rolls and then go on my back as though my lungs have come out of my body.
It's funny too, because sometimes they'll do it and I'll be like, oh my God. And then they'll show the replay and I'm like, I would be out of commission for 6 months if this happened to me. Like, I get it.
Yeah. It is, I mean, overly dramatic, yes. But there are, as Jillian says, like, it's a very physical game, especially the way they play it in like Premier League and all that. Like, they're not playing the beautiful game of like Spain and tiki-taki and possession. Like, they're running through people.
Which version was William and Mary?
I actually went to the hospital one night after a game at William and Mary. We played Old Dominion down at ODU, down in Norfolk, Virginia. And it was on their field, night game. And both teams were very, there was a heated rivalry there. There was a fight on the field in the middle of it. And I was a forward, and one of their backs, I can't remember if it was a wing back or center back, basically went through me on a contested ball from the goalie, and I didn't think anything of it. And then after the game, I started pissing blood.
Oh my God.
And like was in the hospital for a week where like I couldn't move.
Did you even get a free kick? Like,
we certainly got a free kick off the play, and I finished out the game without even realizing it. But
my God.
They'll mash your organs. They will mash your organs is the point.
That's insane. My back could never.
Mine couldn't either. I trust me.
Yeah, we're not built for the pitch.
It was a bad scene, but
No.
boy, do I miss it. Boy, do I miss it. Old man glory days for sure. What else they want?
All right. Jon, what advice would you give pro golfers now that heckling is showing up more on the course?
It's a great question. You have clubs. If you're in, and let's be honest, let's be fair about this. When you talk about heckling showing up in the course, in Long Island,
I know.
It does. Golf is played all over the world. The only place it shows up is somewhere outside of Syosset. Like, it's only Massapequa that shows up and it's like, hey, get it in the fucking hole, you jackass.
It's so embarrassing, guys.
But there's nothing that I think, and depending on the size of the heckler's head, that an iron or a wood. I mean, that's really what you have to do. You have to talk to the caddy and just say, is this the type of dude I could take with a putter? Or do I need to go full wood?
Yeah.
So easy to take care of. Not a problem.
That's it.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed talking about sports this time, and that I didn't have to read any fucking books to do this. Normally I have to read the books. We're off on the next week, but how can they get in touch with us, these people?
Twitter, we are Weekly Show Pod. Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, we are Weekly Show Podcast, and you can like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel, The Weekly Show with Jon Stewart.
Thanks, as always, to producer Brittany Mimetovic, producer Jillian Spear, video editor and engineer Rob Vitolo, audio editor and engineer Nicole Boyce, and our executive producers Chris McShane and Katie Gray. Very nice, guys, and we'll see you. Have a great week off. I'll talk to you guys soon. The Weekly Show with Jon Stewart is a Comedy Central podcast that's produced by Paramount Audio and Busboy Productions.